Hey you guys, and welcome to episode 5. So, it's been a week, roughly a week? Yeah, between episodes, and I've done some stuff around here. As you can see, this is a new structure, and I've put a roof on this, and we'll go and discover that now. So what I'm doing here is I am growing mana beans, because being in a magical forest I have the unique ability to grow and breed mana beans, or splice mana beans depending on how you want to look at it. Mana beans in Thaumcraft 4 only come in the 6 primal flavours, so that's air, earth, fire, water, order and chaos. And then you have to breed them up into the different kinds. So far, well, that was very well timed. I've got Potentia, which is fire and air, and Vacuous, which is air and Perditio. And then using those two, I've got myself Precontatio up here growing, which is obviously Vacuous and Potentia. And with the Precontatio, we can grow Aurum with Precontatio and air. And how you breed them, by the way, it's pretty simple. Just takes a while, and you'll see that I've got a growth lamp there. You just take, say, fire and air, which is Potentia, and you stick them next to each other, and then once they get a bud on them, there is a chance that it will become, it'll crossbreed and become the thing. It's only adjacent ones, and diagonals do count. So all 8 areas around any one mana bean will affect each other. So that's why I've got these 1-tile gaps between things so that they don't affect each other. So Terra remains Terra, air remains air, aqua remains aqua, etc, etc. And if you're wondering why this is such a weird shape, you'll see it's shorter on this side and longer on this side. It's because, unfortunately, the Lamp of Growth from Thaumcraft has a very odd sphere around it. It's, while it itself is a odd item, it takes up 1 tile space, its sphere is an even item. So if I'm looking in this direction, then to the southeast, it's in the, let me explain. I have some stuff here. Let's just grab some random junk. So, in a 4-block space, the lamp is actually here, but the sphere is centered on its bottom right corner. Actually, it's centered on its northwestern corner. Right? So the center is in these 4 blocks, but the lamp itself is here. So that's why it's shorter on this side and longer on that side. It's pretty awkward. But you only really need to worry about that if you're trying to maximize the space, which I am, because I only have 1 growth lamp and we don't have the system in place to be able to just make growth lamps whenever we want. I've actually cannibalized part of my old setup to create this, which basically means I can put saplings in here. Oh, that's good timing as well. I can put oak saplings, or whatever sapling I end up tree farming, into here, and it will produce herba and void out any arbor. So only herba goes up there and feeds the Lamp of Growth, because the Lamp of Growth runs off herba to do its job. Okay, so it can also not be attached to this. I could actually have a water jar sitting on top of here and then have the Lamp of Growth anywhere I want. The sphere is obviously centered on the Lamp of Growth, but that means I can move this setup. It's just that having it directly connected to any e.t.c conduit system, or Essentia conduit system, sorry, means that you get a 10% saving which I'm kind of a Scrooge at the moment, just due to the fact that the base isn't really a base yet. Okay, so you'll notice I have also cleaned up the aura, the node that was feeding off here. That's because we've moved it up into the tower. And it's up here doing its thing. It's connected right now to a VS relay, which will fill any wand that sits in there. And it also has a focus table there, focal manipulator, which I've upgraded some of the foci, but not all of them that I have. I have all of them are level 3, or is it level 2? Level 3, except for my equal trade, which is level 6, which is max. So it ended up being a 566766, with Terra being the smallest, which is weird because I could have swore I had more than enough to get that Terra to at least 6. I'm not surprised Auto is the highest though, so you know, that's good. I wanted at least 5 on all of them, and I got more than that on all of them except Terra, so I'm happy. So that's up there, and let's talk about the focuses for a second. I went with Chain Lightning on my shock focus, just to do maximum damage in a small area. The other option is to go with Ground Shock, which turns it into an AoE kind of shock focus. This is more direct target. I went with Dowsing, which gives me native clusters, which smelt into 2 iron bars or 2 copper bars or whatever the native cluster happens to be. I went with Scattershot on the frost focus and going for maximum potency, so that it is as much like a shotgun as I can get it. And fire is a alchemist fire, so this is my AoE one. Alchemist fire lights the area on fire around the fireball, and also anything that is set on fire burns for longer. And then equal trade, I went for kind of just a mix to make it the best builder's focus that I possibly can, with Architect, some amount of enlargement, and some amount of VS saving. So there you go. Now let's go talk about the infusion room. So as you can see, I've put a roof on it. It's just a sloped roof. I think it looks really nice, makes it look nice and regal, which is kind of what I wanted. It also makes it understated. I don't want the buildings to overpower the forest. I want the forest to be part of the build, right? So I don't want the buildings just to poke out. That's why they're buried in amongst the trees and stuff. And I also saved at this particular moment, for those of you who noticed it in episode 1, I actually didn't notice it until recently when I went back and looked at the video, but let's take a look at chisel. I need to turn this into a pillar because this annoyed the hell out of me once I had noticed it. Thanks guys for pointing it out. Both as a sarcastic thank you and as a real thank you, because this is too short. There we go. All fixed. Blam. Alright, so we have a tower and we have an infusion room, and let's go inside the infusion room. I put a door on it. The bottom is an arcane block and the top is great wood, and it's got a glass door to make it look fancy. I need to change out that cobble at some point. I've embedded the arcane pedestals in the floor. Means that I can more freely walk around the infusion altar and in the room, even while the thing's running. And it even makes it convenient to swap items out, and I've already had a chance to test it when I made the arcane lamps. I've also got some preliminary skulls hidden under the floor so that it's slightly more stable. I don't have enough stuff to make this as stable as possible yet, so yeah. Anyway, I'll be right back a second. There we go. Unfortunately had noisy neighbours. So what else has happened? I don't think much else has happened in the base area. Wait, one more thing. I captured a kobold and I stuck him down here with this haphazard setup underneath the ground here. If we go in here, he's standing there with his dark iron pickaxe. I think he's come off his leash. There seems to be some sort of bug going on where on chunk load or something, leads are dropping off the kobolds and they're dropping their pickaxes. It's very strange. If the kobold isn't tied up, he won't do work. If he doesn't have his pickaxe, he won't do work. So I have to keep coming down here temporarily and fixing that. So there we go. How this works, by the way, is behind here is an autonomous activator which has iron ore in it. Thanks Echo, by the way. Part of this is stolen from him. And iron ore comes out of here, gets sucked up by the hopper, as well as any cobalite that spawns. The cobalite goes up through this filter, and the iron ore goes down through this filter and goes back into the autonomous activator, where he just constantly recycles iron ore. And I have this connected here because autonomous activators are now powered. And he puts all the cobalite dust up here, which means we have lots and lots of cobalite dust for later. It's not used for much, but it can be used for things for when we get into witchery. So I thought I'd set that up while I had the chance to, just so we don't have to deal with it later, because it is a slow process. So this is burning away. Let's go check out what I had actually been doing over the past few days. And that's going to the Industrial Blight, or what Vaygrim called the Industrial Blight, which is the workshop for this series. I just have to wait for this thing to load. Mistcraft has been very slow with teleporting since the update. Not quite sure what's causing it, but it doesn't, for some reason, affect both going to the dimension and then being able to interact with the dimension on the other side. As you can see, there we go, kicked in a bit faster than normal. So, in here, in this building, I've got my famously useful hand railing to stop people going off the side, while also giving you the full size of the block on the inside side. So this is 5 wide. I intend for people to put machines and things up here. The whole thing is well lit. This place doesn't experience nighttime. We've got 2 spots there. Might have to figure out something for that. But this place doesn't experience nighttime or weather, because that's the way Dia set up the age. This is, of course, the Digger age. Vaygrim's put his book up here. So yeah, people are just intended to put their machines up here. Dia's already done a little bit of work in here. I won't go over it. I'll let him do that in his episode. I will tweet it out once it comes out. But then we've got roads leading out, and this is what the building looks like on the outside. I've intentionally kept the inside very undetailed so that people can fill it with whatever they want. The outside however, is where I had all my fun. So this is just some giant factory in the middle of the desert, or industrial building of some sort. Its purpose unknown, but whatever it's doing, it's producing a lot of pollution, lots of smoke, and lots of sludge. This isn't oil. Lots of people are being caught off guard by that. This is sludge. Do not go near it. You will get nauseous, and you will get weak, and you will get mining fatigue, and I think it even poisons you and makes you hungry. So it's not good stuff. Don't go near it. I've also mixed in some soul sand and some sandy dirt to make it just look a that little bit more authentic as a kind of pollutant blight on the land outside the factory. And then sitting on top of it, we've got these 4 smokestacks, and unfortunately there's a bug with IE at the moment that cables detach if they're not in the overworld when the server restarts. But on this giant scaffold, all the way at the top, are what's powering the workshop. So despite all the pollution below, we're actually using pretty green energy. We're using 4 improved windmills from Immersive Engineering, which I think each of them produces something like 35 RF a tick. So that's 140 RF a tick between the 4 of them. It goes all the way down here, and it would normally be attached by wires that go out the side of the dynamo to this one, down to this one, to this one, to that one, to here, and then down the middle, all the way to the bottom, every 16 blocks, using electrum wire for the least amount of loss. Although that might change to HV wire if Blue ever gets around to doing that little balance. In the middle we have a magnum torch, which was actually crafted. All the stuff in here which is useful is crafted. So the magnum torch, the machines down there, the windmills, the connectors, the wires between the connectors, which is why they haven't been replaced, all that is legit. All of this, however, is not legit. This is all creatively spawned in. It took me 3 days, so, you know, probably take me 5 times as long if I had to do it legit. And yeah, so this is the workshop, and I was thinking about putting some machines in here on my own time, but we will see, because there's a lot to do at the base. Speaking of which, I've spent the first half of this episode just blabbering on, catching up with what happened between last episode and this episode, so we're going to move on. And what we're desperately missing at the moment, once Mistcraft kicks in, there we go, I think, yes, is that we need, oh, these are fully grown, awesome. I'm actually going to quickly deal with these while I'm here, or not, you know. Unfortunately it is lagging. It lags for quite some time after you've moved dimensions. It's very strange. Well, those are just harder to break, aren't they? The annoying thing about mana beans is at most they can give you 2, and at least they'll give you 1. And why that's annoying is because even fully harvested ones can give you 1. Fully harvested, fully ripened ones can give you 1, which means you have to break them anyway to see whether they give you anything. So we only got 1 extra out of that. Our Aquanode is still just sitting down there doing nothing, but what we need to do today is we need to create some sort of alchemy hut, and I think I'm going to shove it right there in amongst this area of the dirt. And the alchemy hut will be responsible for housing another one of these, specifically alchemical furnaces, which I think we're going to need to create another crucible for. Oop, no, not basic alchemy, we want this one. Yeah, we need a new crucible, so that is easy enough. Need to go get my wand. Or do I? No, I don't. I need 7 arcane blocks. I only have 3, so I need to make some more. Stone and any shard. And then what was a furnace and a crucible, so I need 7 iron and 8 cobble. Make the furnace, make the crucible, take you on up here, make the arcane blocks first, arcane stone, cauldron becomes crucible. And like that. Yes, awesome. So there we have another alchemical furnace. And 5 spare arcane blocks. Now, that's not all, because I did have 4 of these. 2 of them have been relegated to this duty. So I need to make another 2 of them preferably. Or I want to make another 2 of them preferably. So we want you. And you. And where's your crucible? I'm blind again, aren't I? It's right there. Oh, by the way, you'll also notice that niter is missing off the top of the tower. And that's because this is another reason why we're so desperately doing our alchemical hut over here now. It's because, unfortunately, I keep running out of niter and I have to steal it off the top of the tower rather than make new, because I don't have the alchemical set up to just make more. Sorry, slimes always bug me, so I just kind of have to get rid of them before I can move on. I hear you. Oh. You guys can just do your thing. I don't have enough time. So, 2 more of the alembics. Alembics are made with these filters, buckets, iron, and gold. So we want 2 of them. Means we need 10 iron, 16 iron actually. Very surprised by the amount of slimes that keep spawning around here actually, because the magma torch is right there and they weren't spawning beforehand. There's a update that has broken where they can spawn and where they can't. Oh, I do this every time, and that's that I only need to make 1 set of these filters. Yep. So we want 2 more gold. Don't worry, those guys will drown eventually. Or will they? Please. Gotta get away from that noise. And ta-da! And like that, like this, and like those. 2 arcane alembics, just like that. Right, we have what we need for the inside of our alchemy hut, which is great because it's probably going to be something. I think it's going to be something circular. It's going to have a round roof on the top of it, another great wood one. A lot of people wanted me to put domes and junk on top of there, and I'm like, no, it needs to blend in with the forest, so it can't be too garish, right? Everything has to be, can be pretty, but it has to be functional to a point. So I have some wooden logs on me, and I will need some of you. I get very confused between storage drawers and Java. I'll tell you why. Let me put that back in. Whee. Okay, so single left click, stack of 64. Shift left click, 1. Storage drawer, single left click, 1. Shift left click, stack of 64. It's quite annoying. I think you can change the config, I just haven't checked it. So let's just dig in here. I'm just thinking I'll kind of like that. We want to have it kind of be part of the landscape. Right. So we don't want to clear a big area around it, we just want to kind of embed it in the landscape. It's not going to be a big place, that's why I keep calling it a hut. Oh, we got a level. Haste. Sweet. Didn't really need to dig much faster, but that's okay. So, let's find a center of where we would want the hut to be. I think somewhere like here is good. I'm kind of imagining the shape in my head when I do this sort of thing. When I fly up here and look down, I'm kind of trying to imagine its circular shape. So now we'll go out, like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad, huh? Now I've lost the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, cool. And like that. Remember, this is the foundation, so I'm actually going to be breaking up this cobble in a second. 4, 5. So we do this. I think somebody is on the console right now on the server because it doesn't usually show that time unless someone's there. And now we need to turn it into a circular shape. So to do that, we kind of just plot things out as we go and adjust it accordingly. Thing is, I don't think I'm going to make it a full circle, like a proper looking circle, and the reason for that is we want to have it kind of circular, but we want to maximize the inside space, and because in a game like this the best shape is a square rather than in real life where the best shape is a circle, that's kind of what we have to do. So it'd come across by 2. And 2. And 2. And 2. And now we need to put great wood there. And dump the seeds that inevitably get in my inventory when I start digging up the ground. And we won't have a fantastic amount of time for the rest of this episode, but we should be able to get a rough idea of what we want to do. Take some great wood out. Do I already have some? I do. But that's all. Okay. So we will just do this and that. Then turn you into 4 stacks. Bag. Creative Builder's Wand. Okay. So now we can get a better idea of how big we want this to be. And I think I honestly want to go bigger, probably by 2 on each side, so that will be a radius of 11 plus 4 is 15. So diameter, sorry, not a radius, diameter of 15. So 2 more on that side. 2 more on this side. 2 more here. more here. And now we dig up the cobblestone. So while my aerial view was good for placement and stuff, as you can see, going by your imagination is not totally accurate. I can only give you so much information. So I dig some more of this out. We can, if we have overstepped digging out some of the dirt, we can just fill it back in later. Push it up against the hut. So we still want actually to probably have the edges be 5 wide. Or the cardinal sides. Do we? Maybe. What I'll do is I'll check. So we can do it bigger on one side, right? I've done you wrong though. Right, I see what I've done. Or we can do it this way. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1. What would honestly, I think this one, honestly. This is more circular, but again, it doesn't give me the right amount of room. So we can just do it like, whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. 1 here, 2 there. 1 here, 2 there. So let's fill in that stuff. Ooh, that's not. I forgot the builder's one can't read my mind. Floor, and then we'll dig out the rest of this. More useless seeds. And we'll make sure we're bunched up against here, like that, like that, like that. And like this, and like that. So how are we looking? Yeah, I think that makes a lot better use of space overall. And the thing is that we're going to want, no, wrong one. We're going to want you to be in the center, like dead center. Oh, I missed a spot. So I was going to jump and place it, but then I realized these things are sided, I think. Oh, no, they're not. And up we go. 3, 4, and that also gives us an idea of how high the hut needs to be. And the alchemical machine, on the other hand, is going to be right there. Bam. We also need to dig out that bottom and stick some niter underneath. I can always swap out the dirt later, but just for now, just so things are running, so I can use them off camera. Okay, so this, for all intents and purposes, is now a functional room. It does everything it needs to do, except this hasn't been hooked up to jars yet. But for all intents and purposes, it's ready. And later on we can have wooded jars lining the outside of this room, which the helpful alchemy golem will run back and forth and do. But we need to make it more than just that, though. We need to make it look real good. And unfortunately that's going to have to happen next episode, but I will finish off the foundation. I think this will look just fine. Oh dear. I have so much wood that I'm just going to do that. That, this one, and the last two. I really thought this was the last one. Like that. So we only see, what, 3 of them? 3 of them total. And the door's probably going to be here. I'll probably push back this dirt a little bit. But yeah, so that's going to be the entrance. This is the alchemy hut. So thank you all for watching, and next time we'll put some walls and a roof on it. Make it look kind of cool. So, see you all for that. Bye!